just want to touch on the AmeriCorps Disaster Preparedness Project, because that's what brought you this presentation. We know that when disasters hit, we know that families, businesses, and communities are more resilient if they have taken the steps to prepare and plan beforehand. We also know that engaging and managing a large number of volunteers is key to disaster recovery. The AmeriCorps Ready Wisconsin program is designed to increase community resilience by providing preparedness, outreach, and education opportunities to community organizations, businesses, and local governments. AmeriCorps Ready Wisconsin will also assist communities with developing emergency volunteer management plans, volunteer recruitment, and disaster relief services when needed. This presentation is a brief overview of emergency preparedness, local hazards, and what steps you can take to become more prepared. My name is Ashley Vedvik. I'm from Stoughton, Wisconsin. I'm a senior currently at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and I'm actually a survivor of the 2005 Stoughton tornado. So.
You lived in Stoughton on purpose?
I did not, actually. Some housekeeping issues. Restrooms are right there. Turn your phones on silent or vibrate. Emergency exits would be right out those doors. And questions will be at the end. Now, what is an emergency? An emergency can be anything from flooding to an ice storm, but really it is anything that's unexpected, anything that disrupts your normal daily operations. If I have flooding in my basement, does that constitute an emergency on your part? Probably not, but it constitutes an emergency on my part because it's interrupting my daily operations. The emergency is not the hazard, it's the impacts of the hazard. So let's take the West Virginia water contamination, for example. The emergency is not the fact that the water is contaminated, it's the fact that you can't use it for drinking, for food, to wash your laundry, to take a shower. That's the real impact of the hazard. That's the emergency that is at hand. And there's supposed to be a video here, but I don't know where it is, so we'll just skip over that.
The video is pretty funny. Sorry.
Okay. So if you look at page 1 of your handout, there's the Preparedness Continuum. And just by being here today, you are already taking steps in becoming more prepared when you face an emergency. As you can see, there are different levels of preparedness, and you can build this into your daily routine of becoming more prepared, by making sure you check smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguishers, all kinds of things. If you look over that preparedness continuum, there's different things you can build into your regular life just to become more prepared. And really evaluate what level of preparedness you need for your family and incorporate that into your daily life. There are 4 easy steps you can take to prepare for emergencies. Number 1, identify your needs. 2, get stuff, get training, get involved. The 3 gets. Number 3, make a plan. And 4, stay informed and connected. Step 1. If your idea of roughing it is this upper right-hand corner, or upper left-hand corner, sorry, then your needs are going to be very different than if this is your idea of roughing it. These 2 families have very different lifestyles, thus very different needs. So just evaluate your family's needs. Look over how you have a lifestyle and what you would need in case of an emergency. Step 2 is to get your items together. Page number 15, there's a Red Cross list of disaster supplies that you can look over and just use as a general basis for starting your supply kit. You can take ideas from there and then add to it after you've evaluated your lifestyle. Also, it's important to have supplies for your pets, such as dog food or cat food, just to make sure that they're taken care of in case of an emergency. Because in the case of an emergency, your pets are your responsibility, and actually a number of shelters will not accept pets. So, make sure you have a plan for somewhere for them to go in case they are not accepted at the shelter. And also, any medications that you may have, try and get some extras to put into your stockpile, but if you cannot get extras, talk with your doctor of what you will do in an emergency situation in case, you can't get medication or something along those lines. So just talk to your doctor about what you should do and build your supply kit. It's also important to get training. It's really important to learn how to use a fire extinguisher or do CPR or first aid in case of an emergency. That would always be handy. And there's also multiple organizations that you can join up with that deal with the preparedness and planning and recovery of disasters. And if you look on page 21, there's a list of organizations that actually deal with this kind of thing. And if you would like, I'm going to send around a sign-up sheet right now. If everybody could put their name, just so I have a head count of who's here. But if you're interested in receiving more information from any one of those organizations, please check out the corresponding box and provide your email legibly. And we will put you in contact with them. But if everybody could at least just sign their name, that would be great. All right, step number 3 is making a plan. It's important to think about meeting places both near and far. Say there's a fire in your house and your family members evacuate. Are you going to meet in the backyard? Are you going to meet in the front yard? You should designate a place beforehand so that you know where to meet, and if somebody's not there, you know something's wrong. They are still in the house. There's something wrong going on. Also, maybe outside of your house. Say you were at the movies and you can't get back to your house because there's been a fire or something. Where are you going to meet up with your family? How are you going to get in contact with them? How are you going to meet up with them? So that's also very important. And sometimes in larger disasters or blizzards or whatnot, it's harder to get a call across the street than a call out to somebody that's outside the county or outside the state. So it's always good to have an out-of-town contact, like a relative that lives in a different state. You know, hey, give them a call. Hey, I'm all right. If anybody asks, you can tell them that I'm safe and I'm not in any harm's way or anything like that. So it's always a good idea. And let people know of that out-of-town contact so they're not trying to contact you. So that's always a good idea. ICE number. In your phone, you can put in a contact under the name ICE, and it stands for in case of emergency. So say you are unconscious and you are needing medical assistance, the medical emergency person can look in your phone, see that ICE number, and they know it's in case of emergency. They can call that person, get more information about you, and let them know that you're hurt or injured. So that's always important to include. Also, text messaging. It's important that everybody knows how to text message because the amount of data it takes to make a 1-minute phone call is the same amount of data it takes to send 800 short text messages. So it might be easier to just send out a quick text saying, hey, I'm okay, instead of trying to make an actual phone call. So that is another option in case of an emergency, in case you can't get something out. And plus, that text message will keep trying to send out, unlike a voice call that's just going to be disconnected. In your packet on page number 5 is our household emergency template. It's kind of a guide for you to go through with your family to create a household emergency plan. It gives you topics that you should cover and fill out if you really want to become more prepared and create your plan. Number 4 is be informed. Before an emergency happens, know how you're going to obtain credible information. Whether it's going to be your weather radio, your cell phone, your TV from the news, or just the radio, and rely on multiple forms to be informed. So say if you don't have your cell phone with you, how are you still going to be alerted if something's going on? You know, build redundancy into your plan, and that kind of goes with Dane County Emergency Management Warning System. This is a screenshot of their emergency warning system page, and it talks about the different systems they have to warn you. Dane County Emergency Management has a Facebook and a Twitter, so it is important to keep in contact with that. As well, we have the emergency telephone notification, so a mass phone call will be sent out to all landlines within the county, sending out a notification of the emergency. And there are also outdoor warning signs, and there are some other warning systems out there, so it's important to know which one you're going to rely on. It's actually a good idea to rely on multiple of them because those outdoor sirens are designed for you to hear them outside. So if you're inside your house, how are you still going to be warned? How are you still going to get the information? So that's always important to think about. Now, it's important to know the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch means that its conditions are favorable for that particular hazard. Watches are applied to not just tornadoes, but severe thunderstorms, flood, blizzards, any type of hazard that is out there. So it means conditions are favorable, and this is the time to think about what you're going to do if this actually turns into a warning. This is the time to really evaluate your situation, your surroundings, and which option is the safest for you. And then when that warning is issued, that's the time to act on your plan. That is the time to put it into place, not to start thinking of what you're gonna do, because by that time it's already probably too late. So we have a video of the Washington, Illinois tornado that hit on November 17th, and Mark Wells was very kind enough to let us use this video.
Hopefully we got all the bleeps in the right places.
Yes,
for this.
we hope there's no swearing.
Look at the time mark down on the lower left too. He's in his basement right now. Minute 15, 1 minute later.
Oh my God! Our house is freaking destroyed, Josie! Oh my God! Where's Autumn? I don't know. Let's go. We gotta see if anyone else is still Josie. Come on.
You guys hear this okay?
Hang on a second.
Where was this tornado?
Washington, Illinois. Last year.
This is this past November.
Oh my God, Josie. The neighbor's houses are gone.
Well, at least they got part of the roof. It's a lot better than Barnable that year.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Come on, Josie, let's get out of here. The tornado's passed. We gotta get out of here and get to soup. Josie, come on now. I know it's scary. Come on now. You want to do?
Something might collapse on the ground.
That's fine.
I don't know if you guys heard, but she doesn't have shoes on.
Josie. Josie, we gotta get out of here outside where it's safe. Where the structure falls. That's all right. There's a car right there. Right there. All right, let's go. We gotta get the papers.
So that's our video, and they only had 2 minutes and 55 seconds from when he saw that tornado to when he was actually able to make it outside his house and see this again. So it's a good point to reiterate that when that warning is issued, you don't have a lot of time. You have 3 minutes to act on your plan. And she said she didn't have shoes on, so maybe when that watch is issued, it's a good idea to prepare. Put sturdy shoes on your feet, you know, prepare just in case this actually does turn into something serious. So it's important to utilize procedures that you've identified in your plan when these things happen. Like your communication, who are you going to contact once you get out here to let everybody know you're safe? At this point, there's no safe option. There's no place that is 100% safe. So you have to evaluate your options and pick the best, which one to go with, which one you trust to keep your family safe. Some other hazards that face us, and actually the most common hazard in the United States, is flooding. What you can expect with flooding is rising waters, impassable roads because they're covered with water, and contaminated drinking water. And how you can actually prepare for this is stay informed. I mean, flooding doesn't necessarily come out of the blue. There is flash flooding, but that rain is predicted ahead of time. Know your flood risk. Even if you don't flood every year, doesn't mean you're not going to flood at some point. Everybody's vulnerable. Talk to your local insurance agent. Everybody can get flood insurance, but it takes 90 days for it to take effect. So if there's a bunch of rain predicted this weekend and you go out and buy flood insurance, it's not going to kick in for 90 days. So make sure you plan ahead of time. And also, move all your valuables up. If you are prone to flooding, get all your valuables up off the floor and prepare to evacuate in worst case scenario. National Weather Service's slogan is stop, turn around, don't drown. Actually, a catchy slogan. Blizzards commonly face Wisconsin. What you can expect are whiteout conditions, blocked roads, power outages. These are the times where it is unsafe to travel. I mean, travel if you have to, but it's not a good idea. You are going to want to stay informed. Make sure you have a kit in your car, blankets, kitty litter, shovel, any kind of things that can help you in case you do get stuck, if you do have to travel. Make sure you have a full tank of gas, your electronics are charged. And also it's important to let that person know at your end destination if you're traveling when you leave and when you expect to get there. So they know if you don't come, something's wrong. Also during a blizzard, it's not a good idea to practice your knife juggling. Any dangerous activity that could cause bodily harm, because emergency services may not be able to get to you. So that's important. You may not be able to get out, but people might not be able to get to you to give you help. So just be aware of that in those situations. Ice storms and ½ an inch of accumulation could add up to 500 pounds of weight onto power lines. So what you can expect with that are downed power lines and widespread outages. Like my dad always likes to play when he has to turn the power off to do some electrical work, he calls it playing 1800s. So prepare to play 1800s when there's an ice storm coming through. How you can prepare for this is stay informed. These things can be predicted. Get a kit. Make sure you get extra blankets, warm clothing in case your heat is knocked out when the power goes out. And charge up all your electronics beforehand so you're not caught unexpectedly without any way to communicate with anybody. Another important thing to know is how to contact 911. Contact 911 when you need police, medical, or fire. Even if you're unsure, give them a call. They have the questions, they have the expertise to help you evaluate your situation to know if they actually need to send help. Stay calm, answer all their questions. The question process is not going to delay response in any way. So make sure you answer all their questions, help them out just as they're trying to help you. It's important to also know your location. They can get to you that much faster if you know where you're located. So you can get help that much quicker. And do not hang up. Even if you call them by mistake, just stay on the line, say, hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Because if you hang up, they have to put the energy and the resources into calling you back. And say you don't answer, they have to send somebody to check on you. So it's always more important to just say, hey, sorry, made a mistake, and that way it doesn't distract from any other emergencies going on.
So, sorry to interrupt, but the other thing is, like Ashley said, you will be going through lots of questions, and you'll be worried, come on, just send the ambulance, or send the police. They have call takers, and they have dispatchers. As soon as the call comes in, the call taker has basically an address and some general nature of the call, they're sending the appropriate equipment. They're still taking more questions because they will relay that to the equipment while it's en route. So please don't think that because I've been answering 40,000 questions to this 911 center call taker that they haven't dispatched equipment yet. So it's more important, they're getting it on the way. It's just a matter of getting them more information. So they're not delaying it, they're getting them more information while they're en route.
There's also additional resources like the webpage of countyofdane.com. That is actually on page 22 of your packet, all these additional resources, so you can go and look at Ready Wisconsin, FEMA, and FloodSmart to actually find out your risk of flooding as well. Any questions?
Just the very last thing, the risk, find out your risk of flooding. Do they,
You can put in your location, it'll actually
Okay,
give
so-
you, you know, what your risk is,
Sure.
but
okay.
everybody's at least at some risk.
Right, with that as well, the majority of flooding that we face in Dane County is the kind that, where the creek rises or that low area out in your backyard fills with water rapidly, comes up, nails your basement, and then goes away in a couple hours or maybe a day. Just like in Oregon a couple of years ago, that little, nice little low area with maybe that little, ribbon of water flowing through it, sometimes during the summer, came up and nailed people all the way across Florida Avenue. That's the type of flooding we're prone to. So that won't necessarily be a mapped flood zone, but if you are, or if you're close, you can look on the webpage and find that out. That will tell you a flood zone. But it is actually mentioned earlier, it doesn't mean you're not eligible for, anybody can buy flood insurance. So just be careful about coverages and what it will do for you as well. So,
The last page of your packet is a presentation evaluation, so if you could please fill that out. I have pins for you.
I got a question on the weather radio.
Mm-hmm.
What's the same on your SAME?
SAME.
yeah, that's,
Oops,
it's,
here's one for you.
it, significant or special area messaging.
So basically, is it telling you if you got a tornado in Stoughton, Rona's not gonna go up?
What that's telling you, same is broken down by county. Because the National Weather Service used to broadcast completely in analog. So if there was something in Greene County, we'd get it, because that's what, significant same area. Basically what it does now is, it's a digital component that turns it on. If you have a program for just Dane County, that digital component only activates the weather.
But it
radio.
doesn't break it down any farther than that, so.
By county, no.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with the weather radio. It's a nuisance when somebody's got it in the other part of the county, and
Well,
we got sunshine in Rona, and you got a big storm in Stoughton.
well, the other part about that is too, is the Stoughton area tornado, that storm was about 8 miles tall. And does it really care where in the county it's going? And is anybody really gonna be able to tell you exactly it's going to hit and it's gonna skip over Verona? The whole point is to provide warning, to give you information to make your own individual assessment, rather than to say, you need to go now. Because then that's when all it takes is once or twice of people say, oh, I need to go now, heading to the basement, and nothing happens. So what's the purpose? No, the purpose is to make sure you have information to make an accurate and informed decision. And that's the critical part about it. And with it, having that weather radio turn on, getting past that point of, well, once again, that's for Iowa County, I don't need that. That's where they're trying to go with it, so.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for being here.
Great.
So, yeah, thank you very much.
We have a magnet version of the lighter version of the Preparedness Continue. Feel free to take it, it's on the back table, as well as some brochures from FEMA. So feel free to
Okay.
take those as well.
Yeah, those are those little information that fit perfectly on your fridge.
Yep.
When the grandkids come over, it doubles as a Frisbee, probably won't break much, if anything at all, in the house, so,
So you take the things off the fridge and put that on.
There you go, there you go, so.
Yes.
Anyway, well, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.